Nice little musical medley, fitting here in Music City, one of the great cities. As your weather temperatures will get into the upper, maybe lower 50s, but nothing but sun, not a cloud in the sky, as we are just about ready for the kickoff. There's Mike Vrabel. We told you about where they sit in the A games in the loss column over the Colts. They do have the head-to-head tiebreaker, having won both meetings against Indianapolis. We'll see what is in store for us over these final 5 weeks of the season. Jacksonville, a loss last week in L.A. against the Rams. And Tennessee, fresh off their bye, trying to hit the reset button and put an end to this little 2-game losing streak. Jacksonville won the toss, electing to defer, so Tennessee will have their offense onto the field first. 30 in the return game, but it looks as though Tennessee has recovered the football in a sigh of relief.
And here comes Rodgers. This ball is just going to come out here at the end. That ball is loose in Tennessee, and Rodgers does a good job of finding it and get back. you lose that ball, and just panic ensues for the ball carrier.
All right, so here's Ryan Tannehill. Talked about his number store for him as they begin from just outside their own 25. Tannehill to the air on first down. It's caught. Jeff Swaim. Good drive starter for Tennessee, close to that first down marker. It's a pickup of 9. Jay, what have you seen from Tannehill? Everyone expected him to have to adjust a little bit. You lose a guy like Henry. It's been a struggle.
Spiro, he's struggled. He has, and he's struggled throwing the ball down the field. A big part of it not only was Henry, but not having Julio Jones, not having A.J. Brown, and the ability to stand in the pocket like he can, stand tall and deliver that ball with accuracy downfield like he can. Without those receivers, he wasn't able to do that.
Second and short. Deontay Foreman on his first touch, and that's a first down run for Tennessee. We touched on the big story in terms of the Tennessee Titans as we take a look at their starters. The return of Julio Jones back off IR, Jay, after missing the last 3 games.
This team is built on physicality. Be physical with you with those duo runs, the double teams in the middle. That's what they lost without Derrick Henry.
They'll keep it on the ground here. Foreman, big physical back. Still no A.J. Brown for Tennessee. He'll be eligible to return from IR week 16. As we take a look at the defensive starters, and it has been a rough season to say the least for Urban Meyer's defense.
They've been playing better recently. Today, you got to focus on Julio Jones. Try and take him away and get pressure without blitzing.
Second and 4 from just outside the 42. Tannehill play action, near side completes. That's Cody Hollister on his first catch. And that'll be good for a Tennessee first down.
One of the things they lost with Derrick Henry when he got injured was the ability to use play action, go down the field, and take those shot plays, which they've been so good at. The in-breaking routes behind this young receiving core, that there were so many uncertainties between Ryan Tannehill and those receivers. They lost that ability.
So you knew that Vrabel and Todd Downing wanted to get this running game going. They ran for over 200 yards in their last game a couple of weeks ago against New England, as they pick up 3 yards here with Foreman. But you see the difference since the Week 8 injury of Henry and what they did in that loss against the Patriots.
Not just the rushes, and when Adrian Peterson was running, they didn't run any of those runs. That's what this offensive line is built for, going straight ahead, double teaming, and then getting to the second level and really coming at you physically.
So Downing, their first-year offensive coordinator. Tannehill, pocket starts to collapse around him, and he was impacted on the throw, well short. First one in the direction of Julio Jones. And that'll set up a 3rd and 7. Good pressure by DeJuan Smoot, who is really starting to come on for this Jacksonville front.
Yeah, Smoot has been to Houston. Do we come out after losing 2 games in a row, the Texans and the Patriots, and find a way to kind of right the ship?
Tannehill operating from the shotgun, going to tuck it away. Tannehill, first down and more. Takes a little bit of a shot at the end of the play, and there's the flag. It was Andrew Wingard who came in at the end after Tannehill had given himself up It's a run of 17. We'll see if they tack on some more yardage.
Yeah, they're going to tack on yardage, and it's exactly what Joe Cullen said he had to be aware of.
Personal foul. Defense number 42. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
When we talked to defense coordinator Joe Cullen, one of the things he talked about was Ryan Tannehill's ability to run the ball and how he can hurt you with the boots. Look at right here. Look at that right up the middle where Tannehill goes. Good job recognizing nowhere to go, but there was really sliding. Winger comes down and hits him.
Injured Tennessee Titan. Looks like it's Roger Saffold, who has been dealing with injuries all season. Back with you in Nashville. Roger Saffold has been taken into the medical tent. So Aaron Brewer, who actually started last week at right guard for Nate Davis, who missed the game with the concussion, has been summoned early by Mike Vrabel. 1st and 10, Tennessee from just outside the 15-yard line. Here's Foreman, just barely able to get to the line of scrimmage, and this has been a big part of the story for them.
7 starters.
Hey, gas, 23 spin.
Ninth play of the drive. Tannehill protected well, finds Foreman on the check down, ducks inside the 10, close to the 5, and it looks to be enough to move the sticks. It'll be 1st and goal as this impressive opening drive continues. A pickup of 10 by Foreman.
Second time Tannehill's done a good job of just taking what the defense gives you. Nowhere to go with the ball. Check it down to your back and allow him to go make a play and get a first down.
Stackle.
Dial up the run. It's Foreman. Touchdown.
This is just outside zone. Watch him just everybody get outside and run and find a man to block. Good job blocking, pulling and getting out there. Foreman punching it in, and this is the kind of drive that Mike Vrabel wanted to see. 6 rushes, physical, hitting a couple of plays by Tannehill, running the ball and coming out. And they said, number 1, we had to not allow Jacksonville to have hope. Come out early, hit them in the face early, and then send them a message. I think that's exactly what that first drive did.
Deontay Foreman coming off his first career 100-yard game a couple of weeks ago against the Patriots as his first rushing touchdown of the season. So the Titans, aided by the penalty on Andrew Wingard after 17-yard run.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Kay Jewelers. Celebrate every kiss with Kay. Progressive. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. And by Jardians.
Picturesque winter after a good-looking opening drive led by Ryan Tannehill. Bullocks kick through the end zone, and Trevor Lawrence and Jacksonville will begin at their own 25-yard line. So we've touched on Lawrence. We had the 3 touchdowns in the season opening game against Houston, and just been a regression, at least in terms of the numbers, as he tries to get his season back on track.
Yeah, it's been a tough year for him. He probably hasn't played as well as he expected himself to. And one of the things as a young quarterback, you have to be able to deal with adversity.
He pulled it back, throws it towards the sideline. This will be interesting. It was Danico Autry who had him in the grasp.
Ruling on the field as the quarterback will stop forward progress. 2nd down.
All right, so it does go down as a sack for Autry, and they lose 9.
He's been really good for this team throughout the year. You can see the moves, slipping inside and getting a sack. So Dupree is healthy. They're a really good front.
Yeah, he has turned out to be a major free agent signing after coming over from the Colts. 2nd and 19, quick release for Lawrence, near side of the field, and it is complete. Marvin Jones with his first catch As we throw it to New York, let's get our first NFL Today update with JB.
Carolina on the ground.
Yeah, Cam Newton uses his feet right here. He's going to go from 12 yards out. Carolina's on the field, on the board first. They lead 7-0 over Atlanta.
Trying to snap a two-game losing.
There's Landry, one of the premier edge rushers, over the middle. It's caught. Laviska Shenault. Lawrence knew where the pressure was coming from and exactly where he was going with the football. First down.
Spear, he did a really good job of just getting rid of that ball quickly. You want to negate a good pass rush, get rid of the ball quickly. Good job by Darrell Bevell, the offense coordinator, scheming up a quick route, getting it to Laviska Shenault. A guy I think they need to use more, be a little more creative with. He can do so many things for this team. You know, last year you talked about him as a pocket knife, all the ability of different things, the Swiss Army knife, but they really haven't used him that way this year.
So pickup of 14 as they call James Robinson's number for the first time, and he's going backwards. Rashaan Evans leading the charge. Another negative yardage play. They dump him for a loss of 4. Center, he's been dealing with injuries really all year. So Tyler Shatley makes the start in his absence, and it's been a little bit of a revolving door at that center position for the Jags all season. See the scoring struggles that they've had early over their last 3 games. A little screen action set up here for Shenault. And a good push. That defense was not fooled.
Playing a guy, Zach Cunningham, who's played for Vrabel, Shane Baum before. I think he'll add to that linebacking core. But this team has given up a lot of yards, but they've been really good on 3rd down and the red zone.
Where does Lawrence go here on 3rd and 10? He never had a chance. Landry lighting him up for Tennessee.
11th sack. Now just watch, though. They bring the blitz. They'd only blitz 20% of the time. Bring the blitz, and there's nowhere for Trevor Lawrence to go, and Landry gets home again. And that's when this defense is really good. When they're getting pressure on the quarterback, they can beat anybody.
Landry actually missed some time this week dealing with a hamstring tweak. As it looks like Rodgers, boy, initially I thought he had signaled fair catch, but he... There's your score, 7-0 Tennessee, as the Titans getting set for their second offensive possession. This has been part of the story. Slow offensive starts. They have already remedied that after a game-opening touchdown drive to give them the early lead.
Mike Vrabel wanted. He wanted Ryan Tannehill to not force the football. He said, invest in completions, know when to take a shot. But he wanted to come out and be physical right from the start with this big offensive line.
Total yards lopsided, to say the least, in the early going. 1st and 10 as they play from just inside their own 40. Here's Foreman running left. It's a pickup of a couple. We asked Vrabel, about the mindset of the team, and he's overdrive and kick into that higher gear. And that's exactly what we have to do right now.
Yeah, and they're in a good position. 8-4. They don't have a really hard schedule remaining. You just sit there and you say, okay, if you can win a couple of games here, and you got Julio Jones healthy. Can we get A.J. Brown healthy? Good reports this weekend about Derrick Henry and his recovery from the broken foot. It could be really dangerous in the playoffs.
Jones just trying to get him into some space, and he has played masterfully. What a matchup between him and Shaq Griffin back in the lineup for the Jags.
Yeah, when Jacksonville goes man coverage, expect Shaq Griffin to cover Julio Jones. And Joe Cullen played a lot of man at the beginning of the season, switched to zone, especially against Buffalo Bills when they played that game. And now he kind of does a mix of both. And look at the recognition, and Shaq just fires and comes up and makes a solid tackle on Julio Jones.
5-yard penalty, results in a 1st down.
I always laugh when a guy is obviously offsides, he gets up and he's pointing at the other team.
Urban Meyer pacing that sideline. Good news for the Titans. Looks like Roger Saffold is back in at left guard after leaving for a couple of plays. No official injury update from Tennessee yet, but it looks like Saffold is okay.
Well, both of these guards, Saffold, Nate Davis, they were hurt this Tennessee offense since Derrick Henry got hurt. They've doubled the amount of screens since Derrick Henry got hurt, from 10% of dropbacks to 20%. And they've also halved the number of yards downfield that Ryan Tannehill has thrown. You know, his depth of target has cut in half, partly because of A.J. Brown and Julio Jones injuries, and partly because of Derrick Henry and the way defenses are playing them.
On 2nd and 10, more play action from Tannehill. Throws a dart.
Tannehill's really good at those deep in-breaking routes.
Back to the run game here with Hilliard. Jay, you go back to the start of the year and you think of what this Tennessee offense was supposed to look like with Henry and Julio Jones and, of course, A.J. Brown. And obviously the injuries have just derailed what this offense was supposed to look like for Vrabel.
Yeah, you come into the season with visions of Derrick Henry and really the first 8 weeks physicality, pounding on teams, wearing on them, and then the ability of A.J. Brown and Julio Jones to make plays deep. And that's what Ryan Tannehill does the best, when he can stand tall in the pocket and take shots downfield off of play action. And it's just been a matter of adjusting. I think Mike Vrabel and his staff have done a phenomenal job despite all the injuries.
On 2nd and 6, Tannehill. My goodness. Damian Wilson teeing off. And thankfully for Tennessee, it looks like Tannehill's okay as they lose 7.
Yeah, Joe Cullen dials up a blitz, and just watch him come off this edge here. Taylor Lewan steps inside, Wilson goes outside, and Ryan Tannehill takes a shot. And that's been the story this year. He's had 33 sacks, most in the NFL, coming into this game. And this offensive line has been inconsistent. Big physical offensive line, but they've been inconsistent this year.
Wilson, last couple of years in Kansas City, forces the Titans into a 3rd and long. Quick is going to attempt a field goal.
They hit the upright twice and missed 2 kicks, an extra point, a field goal in their last game against New England. And that had big impact on the psychology of the team going into halftime. This is a big kick for Randy Bullock.
Bullock, year 10, signed to their practice squad after week 1. He's been their starter since the 2nd week of the season. 47-yard attempt, good snap, good hold, and Bullock missed it wide right.
The king of sportsbooks. And by Old Navy. Happy holidays.
Can't ask for better football weather than this. Great kicking conditions, but unfortunately for Randy Bullock, unable to capitalize, misses on a 47-yarder. So the Tennessee lead stays at 7. Family West in the new Epic Paramount Plus original series 1883, a Yellowstone origin story. It stars Academy Award nominees Sam Elliott, Tim McGraw, and Faith Hill. 1883, streaming December the 19th, exclusively on Paramount Plus.
I can't wait for that show.
Boy,
I love Yellowstone, so I'm a big fan of that. I can't wait to watch that show.
Great show. Highly recommended, as that is going to take us to the end of the quarter here in Nashville. There are your numbers as we get set for the 2nd quarter. Spiro Thetis, Jay Feely, Gene Steratore, our producer Jason Ross, Jim Cornell, our director, rest of our terrific CB snap. Such a big part of the story, the benching last week, as he was on the sidelines for most of the first half, and you got the sense that he was going to be a focal point in this game.
Yeah, well, he averages 5 yards a carry. He's your best player and the kind of guy you want to build an offense around. Such a great story, hard worker, humble, and just does whatever you ask, and that's why it's been so confusing, kind of the way they've approached him throughout the year. You bring in Carlos Hyde, you go out, you draft Etienne in
into Tennessee territory. It's a pickup of 7.
Tavon Austin in the slot, a guy that I think they can utilize more. Just comes across and sits down, finds a little window, and then good job by Trevor Lawrence stepping up and finding his receiver, getting a first down.
Austin, whom they signed in early August, had that early stint on IR in September. Missed the first 3 weeks, but it goes underneath. This is the check down. James O'Shaughnessy spins his way inside the 45, close to the 43. It's a pickup of 5. Let's get an update. Baltimore and Cleveland. NFL Today update with JB.
Bill, a first for Jarvis Landry.
Yeah, this is Jarvis Landry's first receiving touchdown of the year. It comes from Baker Mayfield from 9 yards out. And Cleveland takes a 10-0 lead over Baltimore in a very key AFC North matchup.
Spiro Leaders and Jay Faley.
Only marker thrown behind the line of scrimmage. Might this be a hold on the Jags?
I think it's going to be on Norwell 68.
Holding. Offense number 68. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
So it's on Norwell. Now Tennessee secondary being tested.
Watch Norwell.
It was Christian Fulton, Jay, on the coverage. No Jackrabbit Jenkins today for Tennessee. He's out with the ankle injury.
Fulton's a guy that I think Trevor Lawrence is going to try to take advantage of today if he can get time in the pocket.
On 2nd and 15, quick release. Here's Austin again. Gets out across the original line of scrimmage after a pickup of 7. That'll set them up with a more palatable 3rd down. Jay, you wonder if it's early 2-down territory. As Urban Meyer thinking about it.
Yeah, I think if you picked up half of the yardage here, you'd probably go for it. Not punt that ball back. You're trying to look, if you're Trevor Lawrence, you've had pressure already. So think about getting this ball quick, recognizing what they're doing. Tennessee showing cover 2 look. They do a lot of post-snap movement, disguises. Trevor's got to diagnose it and get rid of the ball.
Little RPO action. This is Carlos Hyde. Kind of a clumsy play, and the execution as they pick up only a couple.
Kind of a clumsy play call as well. I don't really like that play call, and that's it.
Well, Darrell Bevel, their offensive coordinator, coming under fire over the past couple of weeks. Maybe a lack of creativity in the play calling. As this offense still searching for its identity 14 weeks into the season. Logan Cook on the punt. And a fair catch signaled by Chester Rogers. 32 yards on the punt. Tennessee with a 7-0 lead. $11 and change left, early stages, 2nd quarter here at Nissan Stadium. First 2 possessions for Tennessee. They had that really impressive opening game touchdown, aided by the penalty on Andrew Wingard. And then the Bullock missed field goal.
Yeah, it should have been 2 scoring drives on your first 2 possessions.
Tough starting field position here as they begin just inside their own 30. And he is close to the 18. So Ryan Tannehill, we showed the numbers since the Derrick Henry injury, but the interception issues, the ball security issues really go back to the start of the season. It's been a struggle for him as he tries to get himself and this offense right here in week 14.
We had 13 interceptions the last 2 years, 13 this year. And
Foreman trying to find some daylight. First down, Tennessee.
To see the physical runs, Foreman getting downhill quickly. Good job creating the seam, seeing the cutback.
Let's go, Charlotte.
And aggressive with that run.
Hey, check.
Good fake, but Tannehill sold it well and throws a perfect pass for Julio Jones. A pickup of a dozen. It's another first. Foreman trying to run behind Luan and the left side of that line. We asked Vrabel about Tannehill's struggles, and he said, look, everyone around Ryan needs to play better, and Ryan's going to be just fine.
There you go back to the 4 interceptions against Houston, and 2 of those are really on receivers, not on Tannehill. And you have receivers who don't exactly know the offense, so Ryan Tannehill's not as confident, so his throws aren't as sure.
Tannehill probing multiple flags with everyone covered down the field. Tennessee needed the 48 as Tannehill picks up 5. We'll check the flag here from Bill Vinovich.
Holding. Defense number 45. 5-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
I was going to say that was pretty good coverage, but
And you're going to see 45 right here. Just grab him. Right there. Just kind of hugs him.
that was enough. He got Torrey Carter, who has been elevated from the practice squad for a second straight week by Mike Vrabel. It's been a struggle for Chase on high draft pick. He has shown some spurts, but just not enough in terms of what they've invested in him yet. Although we did ask Joe Cullen about him, and he is encouraged. Sorted out. Just past the 9-minute mark before halftime. Titans with a 7-0 lead, and now driving at the 50. Little pitch play. This is Hilliard trying to find the edge. Will sneak inside Jags territory. It's a pickup of 3, maybe 3.5. Finally tackled by Roy Robertson Harris for the Jags.
Titans trying to find a balance with these two running backs. Right now there was a tendency in each of the running backs when they're in the game.
Here's Foreman taking on tacklers. Boy, Foreman's look good. Told you his first career 100-yard game. Did lose the fumble in the loss a couple of weeks ago in Foxborough, but second stint with Foreman on this Tennessee team. He spent some time in their practice squad last year, and they like what he brings to this.
And to survive until they can get Derrick Henry back for the playoffs.
See the ball control, already a big headline in this one. That's Jones in motion on 3rd and 3. Tannehill's pass is caught. First down inside the 40. Anthony Ferkser on his first catch.
See Ferkser right here, just kind of sit down. One of the things that happened to this team in the offseason was they let Jonnu Smith go, their great tight end, big physical, imposing tight end, and it's been an adjustment for this offense, not having that kind of tight end and that playmaker, ability to be 12 and 13 personnel, but still throw the ball down the field with Jonnu Smith.
Smith moving on to the Patriots in free agency. Right there here for the Jags.
They don't throw the ball to Foreman a lot. That's only his 5th reception. Rudy Ford trying to get up there and knock that ball down.
Foreman still thinking about it. Thought that he had a chance to break one there. See his early receiving numbers. Ryan Tannehill, 10 of 12, as he now approaches 90 yards through the air.
He's been efficient. He hasn't.
Dontrell Hilliard, 4th game with Tennessee after they signed him to the practice squad in late October. So again, they're right around the field as we have another injured Tennessee Titan on the field. This is Torrey Carter. And now the athletic trainer is back onto the field as they check that right leg.
Wagoneer. And by Consumer Cellular.
Got a 49, 50-yard field goal from here. Bullock has already missed.
I think he'd go for it. I think Vrabel would go for it.
Tennessee 2 of 3 on 3rd down. Bunch formation set. Tannehill throws to his left, completes. First down and more. That's Ferkser on his 2nd catch. It's a pickup of 8 as they move the sticks.
Such a similar. Ferkser's wide open. There's the bunch formation.
Tannehill has hit 5 straight throws. See the balance between the run and pass on this drive. 1st and 10. Foreman trying to bounce it to the outside. Boy, Shaq Griffin, one of the surest tacklers. That's a tough play to make, Jay, in the flat. He was able to get his arms around Foreman.
A really good job by Shaq Griffin coming up, going a guy like Shaq Griffin.
Looks like Deontay Foreman is a little bit shaken up. He was clutching his forearm. Boy, after they just lost Torrey Carter. Carter, by the way, was looked at in the medical tent, and now Foreman looks like he's in some pain. Dontrell Hilliard has come onto the field now. And Hilliard looks
They're
like was
lined up in
lined up
Wildcat,
in
yeah.
a Wildcat.
First charge timeout.
There's Deontay Foreman. They just taped up his left arm from around his elbow up the bicep. But he's got his helmet back on. Looks like he's okay. But for the short to intermediate stuff, missing that time for Julio Jones. And that'll set up a 3rd and 8. Miles Jack was there for Jacksonville.
It's been short to intermediate basically since Derrick Henry is hurt and A.J. Brown and Julio Jones were injured. But you know, what defense has done, they've had lighter boxes since Henry got injured, tighter windows in the passing game, which has been a struggle for Tannehill. And you just got to figure, okay, with Julio Jones back, how can we take...
On 3rd and 8, Jacksonville blowing it up. Damian Wilson, who had the sack earlier, and Jeremy McNichols back in the lineup, coming back from the concussion, loses 4.
Second time they brought him on a blitz. Watch, he's in coverage and then just shoots the gap there, and it's wide open. He read it perfectly. Great call by Joe Cullen.
Bullock, he missed from 47. This will be a 43-yard attempt. Good snap, good hold, and Bullock right down the middle.
So important for Randy Bullock to come back from that miss and to knock that kick through. After you get knocked back, Tennessee in control.
NFL.com/Man of the Year. Does not get more prestigious among players in the NFL. Can Trevor Lawrence in this offense get something going? Give chase again. Lawrence just throws it out of bounds. And Jay, it has been a ragged start as their struggles.
Up front, and they've already had an impact on the game. Simmons almost had another sack. He had a half a sack earlier and kind of came up a little gingerly there with his back when he dove for Trevor Lawrence. But that's been an issue today. Protecting Trevor Lawrence and giving him time in the pocket. If you're going to take shots downfield, you have to give your quarterback time.
Look at the discrepancy in number of plays and ball time of possession. Tavon Austin on the catch. You know, we asked Lawrence about this defense. First guy I mentioned was Jeffrey Simmons. The pressure that he gets. And Kevin Byard told us, you know, if we can get pressure on Lawrence, he tends to rush his throws, and that's exactly been the case.
When this team was on their 6-game win streak, the Titans, they had the 3rd most sacks in the league, the 3rd most interceptions. Those two work hand in hand together. Pressure up front creates opportunities in the backfield, and the guy who usually takes advantage of that is Kevin Byard. Chenault, not a big window for Trevor, and he talked about that with us. He said how it's different from college because the windows are so much smaller and you have to trust your receivers.
2-minute warning. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
Want more stats? Just ask Siri, who leads the league in rushing yards.
Well, it was Derrick Henry. But Henry, 5th game that he has missed since that Week 8 injury. Titans offense trying to reinvent itself. And right now their defense pass incomplete. Intended for Marvin Jones. Excellent coverage by Buster Skrine, who made the start today for the injured Jackrabbit Jenkins. Reminder to keep it here. The Verizon Halftime Report is next. JB, Phil, Nate Boomer, and Coach will get you caught up around the league. It's all to come on the Verizon Halftime Report. Another quick release by Lawrence, this time able to locate Jones. And now the officials say complete. It was a bobble.
Secondary defense can be really aggressive because you're not worried about getting beat over the top. That's what you're seeing right now from Tennessee. Sticky coverage, aggressive, because they're getting pressure on Trevor Lawrence, and he can't stand in the pocket and take shots. He's got to get rid of that ball quickly.
Good look at it there. Terrific work by our camera operators. It is a catch. 3rd and 7. Lawrence operating from the shotgun. Here they come again. Lawrence spinning out of trouble. Lawrence around the ankles. Back in 30 seconds after this from Progressive Insurance.
Progressive presents At Home with Baker Mayfield.
Did you change the Wi-Fi password?
Oh, yeah, I did. It's 0 out slot, 95, Hwood Duffy, Texas smash post. Lowercase Texas smash post.
Okay, got it. All right, check that out.
Bernie Kosar, Cleveland's greatest quarterback.
You look good.
What an arm.
Yeah, I mean, I really used to like watching you play when I was 3, but...
Terrific defensive play by Ola Adeni. Wanted to make sure I corrected myself on his name. Terrific defensive play, and that puts an end to Jacksonville's drive as they stall out again, and their struggles, Jay, continue.
Yeah, they love to do stunts. They got a stunt, and Adeni was able to come in and clean it up, and Vrabel called a timeout to be aggressive, trying to get this ball back.
Good-looking punt after Logan Cook was feeling the pressure. 47 yards in the punt. Cook has been as good as any punter in the sport, angling those punts. Tough starting position for Tannehill. Another league here in week number 14.
Yeah, Logan Cook doesn't get talked about because Jacksonville has struggled as a team when he's been there, but his net gross punting average for his career is 43. That would be the best and the highest in NFL history, and he's deserving of a Pro Bowl, that's for sure.
You got a soft spot for those good punters. Under a minute left. Titans operating with 1 timeout left. Trying to build on this 10-0 lead. Tannehill over the middle, completes. Quick release.
Get to the line and call it, save that timeout.
35 seconds. Tannehill, that pass batted in the air. Boy, dangerous. Officials, I believe, are going to rule this an incompletion. Football is loose, but that is a dead ball. That takes us down to 30 seconds left. It was Dewan Smoot applying the pressure.
Yeah, this was almost disaster.
Not the 33 seconds.
Of here or not, Jacksonville's going to get the ball to start the second half.
The Jags have all their timeouts left.
Yeah, if you get a stop here, if the play clock's running, you're Urban Meyer, you call timeout.
Ferks are in motion. They put a couple of seconds back on. 33 seconds, second down. See if this is a free play. The marker thrown. Chester Rogers on the catch. Dumped down right after.
Line up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
It's on Smoot. Kind of takes some of the wind out of the Jag sails.
They said he lined up off sides, and you've seen that called a lot around the NFL this year. Guys not checking, looking inside, making sure they're not offside. You see receivers always look out to the officials and ask them to make sure they're not offsides. And
geez, it almost looked like he was trying to make his move before he had brought it in. Third down.
Well, if you're Jacksonville now, you're trying to be aggressive and get a stop. If the play clock's running, call timeout and get this ball and try and get anything before halftime. And right, Vrabel here, you haven't used up any of Jacksonville's 3 timeouts. Trying to get a first down just to not give that ball back and give Jacksonville anything in the last 23 seconds.
Mike Vrabel's offense 3 of 5 on third down today. They've got that 1 timeout left. 23 seconds on the clock. Here they come. Tannehill rolling right. Everyone covered down the field, and he's forced out of bounds.
Well, he took the sack. I think it was a smart play, yeah, by Tannehill to be inbounds and then force Jacksonville to use a timeout.
As that turns out to be a loss of 7. Football's iconic show Inside the NFL, streaming Tuesdays at 9:30 Eastern on Paramount Plus. Ryan Tannehill, 12 of 17, just over 100 yards. 10-0 Tennessee lead. So, Jay, what are you hoping for here? A nice return, maybe one shot.
Mickens, you just want to catch this ball in the air. You know Brett Kern is a directional punter, probably going to go so bad it was good, but there's 2 seconds left now, and if you're Jacksonville, you throw a Hail Mary here.
And this has been a part of the story really all season long, specifically the last 4 weeks. Those deficits in the first half that have put them behind the 8 ball. So after the short punt by Kern, the only saving grace is there's just 2 seconds on the clock, but a little bit easier of a throw for Lawrence as Tennessee now goes into their ultra prevent defense. Jay, let's see how strong that right arm is from the rookie.
It's plenty strong enough. It's just if he gets time or not. They haven't had time to throw the ball deep all day.
Goes to the short throw. This is Marvin
Jones.
He's got Chenault the lead blocker, but Tennessee plays it well. So unlock your support at kickoffwithcrown.com as we welcome you back to the NFL on CBS. Spiro Dedes, Jay Feely. Kind of a tidy first half if you're Mike Vrabel. Has to be pleased that no big mistakes from their offense and the pressure that they're able to generate on Trevor Lawrence, big part of the story.
That was the real story. The Jacksonville offensive line unable to handle the stunts that the Tennessee front likes to do, and Tennessee just getting home early and often against Trevor Lawrence and just making him really uncomfortable. The inability to go down any big shots because of the pressure from that Titans defense.
Lawrence efficient in terms of his completion percentage, 10 of 12, but under 93 yards, just unable to generate much of anything down the field. And again, Jay, that's been a big part of the story for them offensively. As you see the first half numbers, time of possession nearly 2-1 favoring Tennessee. But at what point will you start to see those home run plays? Just haven't been there for Lawrence.
A team that has not scored more than 21 points in a game this year. It has been a struggle all year offensively, and you go back to Urban Meyer when he hires Darrell Bevell, their offensive coordinator. He said one of his prerequisites was his willingness to take input from Urban on that offense.
Jay, what about the Feely files? What do you have for us?
Well, it starts with Jacksonville, and they have to be able to provide protection and time for Trevor Lawrence, whether that means max protecting, chipping. The offensive line has got to do a better job of dealing with the stunts. You knew you were going to get him, and for Tennessee, just finish them. They controlled that entire first half, but the score is only 10-0. You know, one score from Jacksonville that gets you right back in the game.
Told you about where the Titans sit. Half game back of New England in the chase for the #1 spot in the AFC playoff standings. With just 5 regular season weeks left. Jags begin from their own 25-yard line. Fake handoff. Lawrence to the air. Signal yet. And the officials say Tennessee football. Naquan Jones, the man who recovered.
Ruling on the field as the runner's forward progress was stopped. Second down.
So they do rule now. After a quick conversation, no fumble. Play was dead. Boy, that is awfully close. Turns out to be a pickup of 7 on the catch and run by O'Shaughnessy. 2nd and 3 from just outside the 31. Run pass option play by Lawrence as they give to James Robinson. And that'll set up a 3rd and short.
Spiro running the ball. That's the 4th attempt for James Robinson, and only
Lawrence protected, gets it out. Perfect pass. Marvin Jones on a 1st down catch. It's a pickup of 14.
Titans had 6 men on the defensive line. They've been bringing pressure and bringing blitzes. They have 2 guys drop the linebackers. Trevor Lawrence has time. The offensive line picks it up. He's able to find Jones.
Marvin Jones' 4th catch, 56 yards with a long of 31. Little misdirection play here. A couple of pitches back to Lawrence, slinging it. And this is going to be incomplete. O'Shaughnessy, the intended target, and Byard, one of the elite players in the sport, was right there for Tennessee.
Byard just does such a great job. This is a good play call. It's open, and then Byard recognizes it and gets over, and just what a good hit and knocking that ball away. You try to take a shot, you go with the flea flicker, it's open in there, but Byard is just too good. He's so good, Spiro. Just recognize.
How good has he been? Lawrence's pass deflected, and it is picked. Evans. Rashaan Evans back in the lineup after missing the last 5 with a first big play for this Tennessee defense. Second pick of the season for Evans. As we go back to the pick.
Well, this is a good ball by Trevor Lawrence. Watch this ball just go right through Chenault's hands. You know, Urban Meyer told us that they had to get him the ball more, but when you give a playmaker an opportunity as a quarterback and the ball goes through his hands, it goes down as an interception for you as a quarterback. But that certainly wasn't Trevor Lawrence's fault. That's why you can't judge a guy just by looking at numbers, especially on a team that's struggling like Jacksonville.
Chenault showed so much promise for them, and he has for spurts this year.
Playing hard, and you're going to look at all these players individually the rest of the year in Jacksonville and judge them on how they respond to this adversity in this tough season. You know, a guy like Damian Wilson going out there, making plays, not allowing all the distractions to impact his performance on the field.
McNichols is the lone setback just to Tannehill's right. How dangerous he has been as a pass catcher. 3rd and 6.
They're showing blitz. Here they come.
Quick needed the Jags 46. Beautifully played. It was Wingard and Damian Wilson.
You would see maybe Mike Vrabel go for it here on 4th down, deciding not to. This year, NFL teams are converting 4th downs at a higher rate than ever before. On pace for the most 4th downs, 52%, but Mike Vrabel decides on 4th and 2 not to go for it.
Kern shanked one late in the first half. 35-yard, their own 10. Rookie quarterback trying to pick up his second-year receiver. Jacksonville still looking for their first points.
Be confident to and through retirement. And by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Nothing Tennessee with 10 and change left to play. Early 3rd quarter. Nissan Stadium on a beautiful 50-degree day here in Music City. Spiro Ditas, Jay Feely, Gene Steratore, rest of our CBS crew. Lawrence and company begin just outside their own 10.
Able to swallow him up. If he hits it up inside, he's going to get 3 or 4 at least.
They've got 7 rushing yards total. Lawrence, quick strike. Near side of the field for Laquan Treadwell, where they're trying to work a little bit more into this offense. And again, tough set of circumstances, Jay. Just wonder what they can do from a play calling standpoint to get this offense going.
Well, for me, just when you look big picture for this season, it's been screens, a lack of screens. They only run about 10%. And I went back and looked, you know who's number 5 in depth of target as well, and hitting those 20-plus yard passes, so they have a great balance, and Jacksonville struggled with that throughout this year.
Those numbers tell you the story. Lawrence slinging it right at the first down marker. That is Chenault, and that's going to be enough for a Jacksonville first down. And one thing Lawrence told us in our conversation with him, he just said, look, you got to trust your matchups. Good week of practice. He's really proud of how they've handled all the reports swirling around the team and all the Urban Meyer stuff this week.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier he talked about the windows being a lot tighter in the NFL and how he had to get used to that. And when you have those tight windows in a matchup that you want, you have to trust your receivers to make those plays.
Lawrence again to the air. That's a short gain to Marvin Jones, and headlines that have really kind of followed him really from day one, even before the season started. And it was tough, you know, the vibe around the team, but what Lawrence told us, they were kind of happy with the week of practice that they've had and felt like they were ready to play this game.
Yeah, I think as a head coach coming in, you have to establish culture, you have to solve problems, and demand accountability for your players and coaches and win games. That's how you're judged. I think Urban Meyer struggled so far this year in a lot of those areas.
Lawrence rolling out.
Dealt with last week's benching of James Robinson after his fumble, and the fact that Urban Meyer came out afterwards and didn't really own it. I don't care if you bench a guy for fumbling. Bill Belichick does that all the time. But as the head coach, come out and own it and say, I benched him because he fumbled the ball. Don't pawn it off on one of your assistant coaches and blame them.
Lost there, and well played by the Titans.
You know, they keep James Robinson in, try and max protect and give Trevor Lawrence a time to take a shot. He looked at Tavon Austin and wasn't able to really find anything downfield. And it has just been a struggle all day for this Jacksonville offense.
Buster Screen was also in on the coverage. Fourth punt here for Cook, fourth-year punter out of Mississippi State. Much after he hauled that in. 44 yards in the punt by Cook, and just a couple on the return. 10-0 Tennessee. Third quarter on CBS. There's your AFC playoff picture. You see where the Titans sit, half game behind New England. Of course, now on that tiebreaker after their win over the Titans a couple of weeks ago in Foxborough. Baltimore right now is losing against Cleveland, and Lamar Jackson was carted off. Play action from Tannehill. Here they come. Tannehill escapes and throws it out of bounds. And just speaking of Vrabel, you think of the culture he's built here, all the injuries that they've had to overcome, and they just still keep on coming. And when Henry went down, everyone just assumed that they were dead, Jay. But here they are. You win today, and you're right there with the top team in the conference.
They are very much alive. And I still think if they get A.J. Brown back and if they get Derrick Henry back for the playoffs, they're as good as anybody in the NFL. You know, with Derrick Henry the last 2 years, they're tops in the NFL and early down run. They're the most heavy running team in the NFL when you have Derrick Henry.
Here's Foreman, one of the guys that they're using to try to pick up some of that slack after Henry left. And you know, they've had multiple chances to try to put this game away a little bit, as they've got another third down coming up as their offense, Jay, is just stalled out since the first half.
Yeah, and you think about the Jets loss and the Texans loss, losing to two of the worst teams in the NFL, and you kind of let this Jacksonville team hang around. If you can't put them away, that's disconcerting. We haven't seen anything from Julio here in the second half. Down at the bottom of your screen.
Titans 3 of 7 on third down. Tannehill working from the shotgun. Here they come. Giving chase. Tannehill, little sidearm delivery. What a pass. Finding Ferkser on the run. It was Rayshawn Jenkins coming with some nasty heat. There is a marker thrown. Looks like it's Saffold again, and this guy's just been banged up all year long. He's tried to grit his way through. Actually hasn't missed a game. Dealt with the shoulder injury earlier in the season. And now the athletic trainer's back out to tend to Saffold. So no flag now, I've been told. And Saffold will be examined on the sideline. So nice play by Tannehill, a pickup of 10.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by DirecTV Stream. Get your TV together. And by Verbo. Together awaits.
Oh, Mike Vrabel broke in together. So much respect between those two football men, as each of their two teams tries to get a win here in Week 14. Dontrell Hilliard is blown up. You know, we asked Urban Meyer about it. He said he knew very quickly that Mike Vrabel, once he knew that the conviction was there, he had the football acumen, obviously just a tremendous career as a player. And Vrabel said the one thing he learned from Urban Meyer, just how to be a better teacher. Basically told Vrabel that he was the head coach of the defensive line. It taught him how to deal with different players, blue chip prospects, walk-ons. It was a bit of a master class for Vrabel. And obviously he's gone on to do some big things here with Tennessee in the NFL. 2nd and 11. Tannehill play action again. Underneath, this is Jeff Swaim, the tight end. He's got a couple of lead blockers. Swaim showing the wheels. He'll get inside the 40. Flag thrown after the whistle. It's a pickup of 24.
Personal foul. Low block. Defense number 41. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
It was Josh Allen, the man penalized by Bill Vinovich and his crew.
Nice little screen play here. Watch Taylor Wan shuck and then get out in front. And you got just an entourage. And I think it was generous of you to say watch Swain with his wheels there.
I thought he looked pretty good.
That new rule, you cannot go low as a defender outside of the tight end area. That's what the call was there, and you're seeing that throughout the year this year. Tough for defenders because they're so used to trying to go low, get under blocks. You go low, you're going to get a penalty.
Swaim, the former Jag, spent part of that 2019 season down in Jacksonville. Here, jet sweep. This is Racey McMath. Back in the fold, has been dealing with that quad injury, just off IR. He's missed the last 4 weeks as they try to work him in, the rookie 6th-round pick out of LSU.
Vrabel is excited to get him back. You know, he's in the mold that they want. 6'3", 217, big physical receiver who can stretch the field. You can throw him the ball, allow him to go up and high point it. You think about A.J. Brown and Jonnu Smith, what they had with those physical receivers and the mismatches that provides.
I should say he's been out since week 4, so he has missed most of the season, but he makes his first big contribution of the day to set him up with a 2nd and short. Burks are in motion. Play action. Tannehill hit on the throw, and it's incomplete. Well, they had just enough pressure to alter that throw a little bit for Swaim.
I think it was a pretty good play by Tannehill. Stand in the pocket and watch Swaim. That's a ball that you should come down with. It's in your hands. Just a little high, but he's got to come down with that ball. Pretty good play by Tannehill to stand in there knowing he's going to get hit and deliver that ball where your tight end can make a play on it.
And it was DeJuan Smoot coming right up the gut to put that pressure on Tannehill. 3rd and 1, Tannehill on the keeper, 1st down and more. It'll be 1st and goal with a chance to build on this 10-point lead.
What this offense demands of Ryan Tannehill is to stand tall in the pocket, deliver balls, and to take shots like that. So you need a physical guy like Ryan Tannehill, a guy who played receiver, is used to get hit in college, and you know can take that kind of physical pounding throughout a season and continue to play.
When you think of the career renaissance Tannehill has had here a couple of years ago, comeback player of the year, followed it up with a tremendous season again last year. And he has helped make this team really a perennial contender. Tannehill chased out of the pocket. Here they come again. Probing, throwing, end zone, incomplete. Michael Pruitt just running out of green grass. And it will be 2nd and goal.
Malcolm Brown gets pressure in the middle. He gets in there, forces Tannehill out. You see him scrambling, getting outside the pocket. Just couldn't get his feet in.
Tennessee Titans, everything at stake for them in that playoff picture in the AFC. Looking for a bit of an uppercut punch here, as the Jags just keep hanging around. Here's Foreman, close to the 5, and that'll set up a 3rd and goal. The clock running, 3 and change left. Meyer pacing in front of that sideline. Jay, this defense has played awfully well. Can they keep him out of the end zone again?
Yeah, and if you're on the other side in Tennessee, can you get in the end zone and stop allowing this team to hang around? You know, shut the door on this team, on a team that you should beat when you've had a lot of opportunities.
A little bit of miscommunication. Long snap count from Tannehill. Rolling left. Eyes the end zone. He's going to run for it, and he's in. Touchdown. And Tennessee extends its lead on the legs of Tannehill.
Well, McCray and Bryant are on that side, and they lose contain on Tannehill. They knew coming in that Ryan Tannehill has that ability to beat you with his legs. We saw it on the first drive of the game, and Tannehill tucks it. A good read, a nice play, and that's what Vrabel wanted to see. Convert it into a touchdown, extend that lead, and not allow this team to hang around.
Methodical, efficient scoring drive led by Tannehill. They cover 69 yards as he posts his 23rd career rushing touchdown. 17-0 Titans on CBS. There's a scoring summary. 11 plays, 69 yards, just over 5 minutes. Mike Vrabel talked about getting back to the basics. This has been a cleanly played game so far as they are in command, up 17-0. Mickens, and just barely able to get to the 15-yard line. I want to help people affected by the southern and Midwest tornadoes. Text the word tornadoes to 90999. You can give $10 to the American Red Cross Southern and Midwest Tornadoes Relief. Just devastating stories that actually affected parts of Nashville, certainly of other regions of the state. 5 different states affected, and our thoughts and prayers with all those lost family members, friends. Just a devastating week. Here's Trevor Lawrence back on the field. He starts from the 15 out of the shotgun. Looking right, completes. That is Treadwell. They just can't get this running game going, and when you're this one-dimensional, Jay, it's hard on Lawrence.
Yeah, just brutal. When you look at 8 rushing yards total for this Jacksonville team. James Robinson, 5 attempts, 3 yards.
It's Jones on the catch, then Chenault on the drop, which led to the
one interception. Yeah, and now you figure Tennessee, they're going to play a lot of shell defense, keep them in front, so Trevor Lawrence will have opportunities to complete the ball underneath, and with the 17-0 lead, you're kind of content to not give up the big play.
See if they take advantage. Boy, that one nearly picked. Amani Hooker had a beat. Stepping in front of the intended receiver, O'Shaughnessy.
Yeah, Amani Hooker looking like Byard right there, reading the quarterback. Route recognition, knowing that the tight end is going to sit it down right in the middle, and he jumps that route and almost gets an interception.
Lawrence wanted a flag. You saw the contact.
But I like that because he's going for the ball. He has as much right to that ball as the offense does.
You see the discrepancy between run and pass as they once again have had to play from behind. Lawrence taking his chance. There's a flag thrown as Marvin Jones making the catch. It's exactly what Lawrence was talking to us about, trusting his player, trusting the matchup, as we await the call from Vinovich.
Holding. Offense number 68. Pass interference. Defense number 26. Penalties offset. Replay second down.
If that doesn't sum up the season for Jacksonville, you finally hit one down the field and you get a flag on the defender, but it's coming back.
Yeah, but your left guard gets called for holding. Watch Norwell. Just kind of wraps him up and holds him and hugs him. Saw a call like that earlier, right around the neck. And here's the holding penalty down the field, and Jones does a good job of coming back and finding the ball. They need to continue to do that. Take shots down the field, allow the receivers to try and go make a play.
So they replay second down, 2nd and 10. From right around the 33, Lawrence going to take another chance. Opposite side, it's caught. Treadwell to the Tennessee 25-yard line. Lawrence said this week he wanted to let it rip a little bit more, look down the field, and finally starting to take some chances. It's a pickup of 42.
He wasn't able to do that because of the pressure in the first half. Treadwell, who they brought up from the practice squad November 6th, has kind of become a vocal leader for this team. A guy who's a former first-round pick and has ability, and they're trying to utilize it.
Little shovel pass here to Robinson, trying to get him going perhaps in the passing game. Marker thrown in the backfield.
Holding. Offense number 78. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
It's Ben Barch. And right now, Urban Meyer's offense getting sloppy with the penalties.
Oh, Ben Barch there just got run over by Jeffrey Simmons. Watch this matchup right here. And it's just not fair. Boom, just runs him right over. And all he could do is tackle him. I love watching Jeffrey Simmons play. This guy was a first-round pick in 2019 and become one of the dominant interior players in the NFL.
7.5 sacks on the season. That's more than he had his first 2 years combined. What a force he has become out of Mississippi State. .32 seconds left in the quarter. Lawrence is intercepted. Jayon Brown with a one-handed pick, able to haul it in for the interception.
Lawrence was looking at Oladeney coming off the edge untouched, and he saw right in his face and wasn't able to see downfield and throws a bad ball that Tennessee makes him pay. Watch right here, just coming off the edge. Nobody blocks him. That's what Trevor Lawrence sees. Here comes Oladeney right off the edge. Good job dropping into coverage. Trevor Lawrence doesn't see him, and Jayon Brown gets the pick.
Brown had that long stint on IR, missed 5 games in October with the knee injury. What a play for the defense. Tannehill back in business. Completion to start the drive to Michael Pruitt. He'll pick up a 5. See if that takes us to the end of the quarter. So just when Lawrence was starting to pick up some steam, a couple of offensive line penalties, and then just a defensive gem by Brown.
Yeah, and for Vrabel, you're getting the turnovers you wanted. You're getting the pressure you wanted. You haven't committed a penalty, and then you haven't turned the ball over. Pretty good recipe for success.
It has been tidy and efficient so far for the Tennessee Titans. And the frustration for Urban Meyer and the Jags continues. Back with you inside Nissan Stadium, Nashville, Tennessee, as we begin the fourth quarter. Jacksonville has not been shut out. Have to go all the way back to the 2009 season. Almost 200 games as they are still looking for their first points. Tannehill under center on 2nd and 5. Here is McNichols back in the fold for Mike Vrabel. That's a first down run. Jay, you think of how crazy this year has been for Tennessee. Go back week 6 and 7. They knock off Buffalo, then go to Kansas City, blew out the Chiefs. I mean, they look to be the runaway favorites at that point. Even 3 weeks ago, they still had the top spot in the AFC. Of course, you lose Henry, and everyone wondered, can they somehow get it together until hopefully you get him back late in the year.
You get those guys back, A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry, you get into the playoffs. Going through all that adversity, overcoming it, having other guys step up, it can be a real benefit.
Tannehill. Third time they've gotten to him. That is Jihad Ward. And Tannehill barely had a chance to turn around, and Ward was right there.
It was a good rush by Ward. Watch him just work inside. Rips inside and is right on Tannehill.
Second and 18 after the sack, as that knocks him back to just outside their own 35. Tannehill over the middle. They'll get some of it back with Chester Rogers. Brought down just shy of the 50. So a third down coming up. It's a pickup of 13 here. So this Jags defense still trying to battle.
Yeah, one of the things that they struggle with all year is turnovers. 5 interceptions, only 1 fumble recovery. That's just stunning at this point in the season. And when you aren't getting turnovers, you're not getting yourself off the field, giving sudden change to your offense and creating field position.
Here they come again. Tannehill sacked again. Robertson Harris leading the charge for the Jags. Pass protection has been a big issue for the Titans this season.
Taylor Lewan even told us that they were inconsistent. Watch him just with the bull rush come straight through here. You get pressure all over. It's just a straight bull rush, and Tannehill takes the sack twice on that drive. Jacksonville was able to get pressure.
Robertson Harris, big free agent signee in the offseason, coming over from Chicago to try to help shore up that run defense. As he gets his 3rd sack of the season. There's the Pro Bowl punter Kern with Mickens signaling for the fair catch. 17-0 Titans. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Saturday, our college hoop season gets into full swing on CBS with an afternoon triple header. It begins with Texas Tech taking out number 5 Gonzaga at the Jerry Colangelo Classic. Then 4 iconic schools compete at the CBS Sports Classic, beginning with North Carolina and 4th-ranked UCLA, followed by number 10 Kentucky clashing with 21st-ranked Ohio State. We'll get you set for tip-off at 12:30 Eastern with Inside College Basketball next Saturday on CBS. Not much to talk about for this Jacksonville offense. It has been ugly, to say the least. Very little on the ground. And right now, Tennessee pitching a shutout.
Yeah, at the beginning of the game, we said for the Titans defense, stop James Robinson and get pressure on Trevor Lawrence, have tight coverage, and try to make him beat you deep. That's exactly what they've done. James Robinson, 5 attempts, 3 yards. They got pressure Trevor Lawrence all day.
Hard to stay committed to the ground game at this point, down 17 points. Nice little snatch by O'Shaughnessy. The 5-yard penalty on the punt as Tennessee's gunner, Dane Cruikshank, actually ran out of bounds and then came back in. So that gave Jacksonville a little better starting field position. But, Jay, the question now, can they somehow generate some points? Looks like they're going to pick up the pace here a little bit. Darrell Bevel, their play caller. Think about the synergy. Bevel, for his former longtime run in Seattle, then Detroit, Brian Schottenheimer, as they try to push the right buttons, Jay, with this offense.
Yeah, and you thought bringing Bevel in, I mean, he was with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay and a young Russell Wilson in Seattle. And he's been around young quarterbacks and developing those quarterbacks, but it's certainly been a struggle for this coaching staff to find out what their team does best and to go out there and put a plan together.
All kinds of movement pre-snap. The sloppiness continues.
Ball start. Offense number 75. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
This team comes in. Most false starts in the NFL with 22 coming into the game, and most of those are on the offensive line. So they've been undisciplined. They've made mistakes. They've given up pressure.
Urban Meyer didn't want to hear about the excuses this week. He said, we have the talent to be able to get this thing going. And so their bad season has continued here into week 14. And that's what Jay's talking about. And those issues continue. 3rd and 8. Lawrence trying to buy himself some time. Takes his shot. He's got Mickens, but he is picked again. Christian Fulton.
Trevor Lawrence scrambling. Fulton does a good job of coming back, getting back into the play, and then going up, catching that ball, getting the interception.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico. You could save even more by bundling home and car insurance. Discover exceptionally common sense. And by Macy's. Give, love, believe.
There's Christian Fulton, second pick of the season. Fulton, their high pick from a year ago, has dealt with the injuries, but when he has been healthy, he has flashed that talent. And it was again on display for Tennessee. Gives the football back to Tannehill and the offense. Jay, you go back to the pick as McNichols with a short run. You just wonder if Lawrence could have thrown this football a little earlier.
Well, he's rolling to his left, so it's a difficult throw. But the opportunity was there. He does a good job of getting out of the pocket. And then just watch right here and watch him come across. If he throws that ball earlier, Fulton can't get back into it. See him drop it into coverage and then goes up and makes the pick.
It's actually the fourth multi-interception game for Lawrence and the second one in which he has thrown 3 picks. We have to go all the way back to the opener against Houston. 2nd and 9. As Tennessee now is going to try to lean on him with the ground game. Davon Hamilton on the tackle of McNichols, a pickup of only a yard.
Yeah, McNichols gets some carries. I think Hilliard may be frustrated with the fact that he had an opportunity on one of the duo runs to hit it up in the middle, and he bounced it, and I haven't seen him again since then. And they're trying to figure out what these running backs do best and then try to utilize them both in the outside zone, inside zone, and then in those duo runs as well.
Didn't have much of a chance against Davon Hamilton, who didn't play last week. He had that knee injury. And that big loss in LA against the Rams. 3rd and 8. Tannehill, another quick release, a little bit too high with it. Looking for McMath. Again, first time in the lineup for McMath since week 4. And a rare 3 and out for the offense.
So those plays that you just wonder between receiver and quarterback when you haven't had a lot of opportunities to play together. You don't know exactly what each other is going to do. Over the last 5 weeks, you've really seen that with this Titans team throwing the ball.
4th punt for Kern. Jadon Mickens again signals fair catch just outside the 40-yard line. 39 yards on the punt by Kern. Reminder coming up next. We'll get you set for an interconference battle in Tampa. Josh Allen and the Bills, Tom Brady and the Bucs. Game 2 of our CBS doubleheader is next, right here on CBS. What a big one that is going to be. See what Brady has done in his career. He has haunted that franchise. Is that TB's scary face, Jay? That's a little scary.
It's Benjamin Button. He's agent in reverse.
That intense gaze from Mr. Brady. And we will be watching later this afternoon. 1st and 10, Lawrence. As they begin just outside the 40-yard line, Lawrence well short. Jay, you just wonder about where his confidence level is. He certainly seemed confident when we spoke to him, but as this thing continues to snowball in the wrong direction, it's a lot for a rookie quarterback to think about.
Yeah, and it doesn't help when your receivers are running a route and they're right next to each other. Shenault slips. I mean, look at, I'm not sure what they're trying to do there, but the idea is not to have both guys right next to each other on the ground.
Urban Meyer's always been a coach who wears his emotions on his sleeve. Didn't do much losing in the college ranks, but boy, it has been a different experience for him in the NFL. Lawrence's pass incomplete. Intended for Treadwell. And again, that's what Urban told us last night. He's like, I don't buy into the excuses. He is a throwback in that way.
Yeah, and he wants his assistant coaches to take ownership, you know, of the player's performance. To know that that's his belief, is that if your player isn't doing a good job, you as assistant coach need to take ownership of that and not blame the player.
Looked like Lawrence was surprised by the snap. Rolling away from trouble, buying some time. And another incompletion. Hooker was there. Marvin Jones was the intended receiver.
That was just a dysfunctional series there. Lawrence wasn't really ready for this snap. You had receivers running wrong routes and in the same location.
Jay, it's just been bad, no matter how you slice it. Penalties, miscommunication, and now 4th and 10.
Yeah, and they told us that they weren't worried about all the outside noise, but it certainly looks like the performance today, it had an impact on this team.
Wobbly pass, Lawrence. We're taking a shot. What a play by the rookie that time. Treadwell on the first down reception, a pickup of 12. It might have been the best play Lawrence has made today.
Well, watch Trevor Lawrence here stand. Know he's going to get hit. Step into it. Takes the hit. Delivers the ball. Completes the pass.
It was Autry who came on the pressure and the hit. But that pass again was nearly intercepted. And it looked like Simmons getting his mitts on it. Stops the clock at 8:27 left. At this point, if you're Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence, just trying to get any kind of points, something to build on here. And Urban has been staring down at the turf large part of this 4th quarter. It's been that kind of day for the Jags. Carlos Hyde, my goodness, he is lit up at the end of the play. Looks like Hyde is a little bit late to get to his feet. As they will pick up the pace here, there's Derek Roberson on the smashing hit. Hyde looks to be a little bit woozy as they will take a closer look at him on the sideline.
Jacksonville taking their time here. You'd like to get up there quickly. The clock's not moving. Now it is.
Lawrence, Simmons again teeing off. Lawrence, disaster. Roberson finally getting to the rookie quarterback.
Story of the day has been the pressure the Tennessee Titans have been able to get Simmons, just not going to be denied getting in there. He's the first one to make Trevor Lawrence tuck it and then able to come in there and finish it up. He loses 21 yards on that play. Roberson make 2 big plays in a row.
Roberson, who made this team undrafted 3 years ago, gets his first full sack of the season. Chester Rogers will play it inside the 10. Crosses the 15, and that is where he is brought down. 54 yards on the punt by Logan Cook. Will break back in 30 seconds right after this.
Our Fairbanks, Alaska store is closest to the North Pole, which has folks wondering, does Santa shop at the Home Depot?
No comment. No comment.
No comment. There's a lot of nicks in this town.
Somebody made the naughty list.
These tiny gloves are the most popular. We don't know why.
It's elves.
Come on, Bryce.
Find everything you need to make the holidays yours. And maybe Santa?
That's it. Santa, I'm Keith.
At the Home Depot, how doers get more done.
I've never seen a big guy wear flip-flops.
There's your score as we cross the 7-minute mark. All Tennessee led this game at halftime 10-0. They've added to that lead as they try to end this little mini 2-game slide, half game back of New England atop the AFC. Another good summary of the kind of day it's been. Efficient. They've avoided the big mistakes. as they close in on their 9th win of the season. Tannehill and company begin. This is Westbrook-Akina on the catch, forced out of bounds at the 20. Jay, I want to get back to Urban Meyer because this is going to be a continuing story over the final 4+ weeks of the season. The question coming in, obviously legendary career as a college coach, could Urban adjust to the NFL way of life? Not just coaching on the field, but the relationship with assistants and players. It just doesn't seem like that's been the case so far.
Well, you think about Nick Saban going to the NFL and Tom Coughlin going to the NFL, and how it is an issue, especially if you're a disciplinarian type coach and you're not used to that. You're used to being able to, if you don't like a guy, hey, I'll just recruit another 5-star athlete the next year. Right. It's not the way it works in the NFL. And you have grown men that have families that are going to be there for a long time, and you have to develop relationships and trust.
Jeremy McNichols. Titans happy to have him back in the lineup. It's a pickup of 12 and a first down as that clock hits the 6-minute mark left. But how Jacksonville finishes the season certainly is going to go a long way in factoring in whether it's going to be a long-term marriage between Meyer and this franchise. Everyone's saying the right things. Meyer certainly committed, and the owner, Shad Khan, rest of the ownership group.
Yeah, you sit there and you think, okay, we go out, we get Trevor Lawrence, we bring him in, superstar player, and we get Urban Meyer and his ties to Gainesville, winning a national championship. We're the 30th in attendance at home in the NFL. Owners don't like that.
No, they do not. As McNichols is trying to get back to the line of scrimmage. One thing you can't say about Khan is that he hasn't put his money where his mouth is. He's trying to give this franchise the resources, the renovation, the practice facility, everything they've put in as they try to get this thing turned around.
And he's been patient with head coaches.
Yes, he has.
You know, you look at the last 2 head coaches, Gus Bradley and Doug Marrone, he's been patient. Maybe some say too patient with some of them.
Come on, Ferg. Come on, come on. Come on, Ferg. Come on.
Tannehill fakes, and that is incomplete. Intended receiver was Pruitt, and Jenkins on the coverage.
A lot of McNichols here in the second half. You know, Foreman injured that elbow when he tried to give the stiff arm. We haven't seen him much since then. And then Hilliard, I still think that the mistake he made on the duo run, not hitting the right. Here he comes back in the game. We haven't seen him much since that play. You know, he's got to learn how to run and how to read those duo runs inside. Not be so quick to bounce those runs. Hit him up and hit him hard and pick the right hole.
Hilliard, like Foreman, had over 100 yards rushing a couple of weeks ago in that loss out in Foxborough. Tannehill again under a heavy rush. Hilliard unable to make the catch as his frustrating day continues. Tannehill just did not have much time.
Well, if Hilliard catches that ball, they got a really good play on there. Jacksonville brings a blitz. They have the perfect call in the screen, and Hilliard just doesn't catch it. He's got 3-4 blockers in front of him. Well, that was going to be a big play.
Suddenly, Brett Kern has become a busy man as the Pro Bowl punter awaits here right around his own 25. 5th punt of the day. Mickens again, fair catch, as they will have it at the 17th. You know, I woke up this morning, I looked at the calendar, December the 12th, kind of rung a bell. I couldn't remember what it was, and I said, you know what? This was the day where Jay Feely put his talents on display. December the 12th, 2010,
the one
11
day
years
I was
to
an
the day.
athlete in the NFL history of my career. Didn't hold the ball up as I went across the goal line. And then all the athleticism left me as I tried to do a little Lambo leap and couldn't get my big butt up there.
The biceps, just the physicality. Man, that was impressive. The Glendale leap, we'll call it, out in Arizona. The memories. A little stroll down memory lane with Jay. 1st and 10 as Lawrence and the offense back onto the field. Here's Robinson out across the 25, close to the 30-yard line. Jags have told us that Carlos Hyde is being evaluated for a concussion.
Holding. Offense number 68. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Oh, it's on Norwell, and he is having a rough one. He's beaten on the last sack.
That was his third time he's been called for that. And, you know, you wonder, why did James Robinson have a tough day, such a tough day today? 6 attempts, 5 yards right now. Well, coming in, I wondered about the tendencies. You know, they're in shotgun. Jacksonville is 73% of it, so only 26% of the time under center. Well, the majority of James Robinson's runs are rushes from under center. So when you're not under center very often, or only a quarter of the time, and the majority of his rushes come from under center, you can really key on that tendency as a defense.
O'Shaughnessy on another catch, and again, he has just stood up. Jay, you think of the year that Robinson had last year, coming out of obscurity, the most rushing yards ever for an undrafted player. He finished 5th in the league. The most scrimmage yards, I should say, by an undrafted rookie, and he just hasn't had a chance at any kind of an encore. The injuries, hasn't had nearly the same amount of touches. What a frustrating year it's been for Robinson. On 2nd and 16, Lawrence is picked off again. It's Buster Screen getting in on the party. And Trevor Lawrence now with a career-high 4 picks here in Tennessee.
Well, Tennessee's just in zone. Buster Screen just kind of wades right into this ball, and Trevor Lawrence just hits him with it. I think he was just as surprised as anybody that ball came to him. Watch Buster Screen just kind of drop underneath, right in the middle of your screen, right there. Boom, picks it off. Trevor Lawrence is just trying to push the ball down the field, taking chances now, and the first interception wasn't on him. That one went off Chenault's hands. The next 3 are on Trevor Lawrence.
And this one has quickly spiraled into a nightmare for the rookie first overall pick. And meantime, Buster Screen celebrates his first INT of the season, making the start for Jackrabbit Jenkins. Screen, one of the newest members of that secondary, all the moving parts and the injuries that they've had to contend with in the secondary. So Tannehill and company will try to add to their 17-0 lead. Penalty flag thrown just behind the line of scrimmage.
Holding. Offense number 62. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
It's on Brewer. It has not been a pretty one for the rookie quarterback.
That first one went off Chenault's hands. This one, there was pressure. He didn't see Brown dropping. This one, he was a little late on. Nice play by Fulton. And this one just never sees Buster Screen dropping. Throws it right to him.
Lawrence, a kid who oozes confidence. That's the psychology of a rookie quarterback. As he continues to go through those growing pains, to say the least. 1st and 20 after the penalty. McNichols unable to spin away. Nice play by Jack. Able to get his arms around him. It's a pickup of 3 as Tennessee closes in on their 9th win of the season, and they've got some star talent on the sidelines. Obviously, Henry out since week 8. A.J. Brown is going to be eligible to come back week 16, still dealing with that chest injury. And those are the 2 big ones. Obviously, Dupree defensively, but Henry and Brown, the 2 guys who can really, of course, enable this team to make a deep postseason run.
Yeah, David Long, the linebacker, was not out there today. Tart, their nose tackle. Jenkins, their cornerback. I mean, so many guys that aren't out there. And as they continue to get these guys back and get healthy, I believe that they're going to be a force in the playoffs.
First charge timeout. Tennessee. 30-second timeout.
All right, Mike Vrabel's going to take his first here. Gives us a chance to remind you to keep it here after the game. We'll have the NFL Today update. JB, Phil, Nate Boomer, and Coach Cower take you around the league. Week number 14, all the latest scores and highlights with the NFL Today update, time permitting.
Spiro, think about how scary it would be for the rest of the AFC if Derrick Henry is able to come back for the playoffs, a fresh Derrick Henry that's healthy and ready to just get out there and run. You know, he wouldn't have played for 10 weeks or so. I think it was originally called a 6 to 10 week injury. You know, but a guy like that who's fresh at the end of the season, that's a scary thought.
Tannehill off the fake, rolls out a little bit high. Nice catch by Swain. He'll spin his way down just inside the 10. That's a pickup of 13 yards. And Jay, the other part, you know, if you're a Tennessee fan, you look at the landscape as we'll get another timeout here. Obviously, Kansas City has looked vulnerable, starting to pick up some steam of late. Buffalo has had some issues. New England at the top, but certainly not unbeatable.
They got a rookie quarterback, Mac Jones, who's really the only rookie quarterback who's played well of the rookie class this year. And, you know, but when you have a rookie quarterback, you always are questioning how they're going to do come playoffs. And New England's so good at home if they're able to get home field advantage. That battle between New England and Tennessee, and, you know, the head-to-head loss looms large in that battle. But I still believe in Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that's a team as well that can beat anybody. Sure. They can get hot and score points at will. And Buffalo is the team that I thought was the most complete team, and they have not played well over the last month.
Mike Vrabel had this franchise in the AFC title game a couple of years ago, of course. Hoping to make what these fans hope will be a deep playoff run. On 3rd and 6. They will lose yardage here with Jeremy McNichols. Robertson Harris able to get that push. Urban Meyer will take his timeout here. It's a loss of a couple, as Mike Vrabel will send out Randy Bullock and the field goal unit.
Mike Vrabel channeled his inner Bill Belichick this week, right? The rules to win with Bill Belichick: avoid losing first, so no turnovers, no self-inflicted wounds, no penalties, no bad offensive plays. That's what they've done in this game. They haven't made any of those plays that cause you and force you to lose. You know, and then they've gone out and they got back to basics offensively and defensively, and they played a really clean and sound game today.
I'll tell you where he's also taken a page out of Belichick. That's those press conferences, his little sparring sessions with the media.
I thought you were going to talk about the production meetings.
And also CBS play-by-play announcers are very intimidated by Mike Vrabel. 29-yard chip shot attempt here by Bullock. Missed from 47. He hit from 44. And Bullock making it look easy. 20-0 Tennessee. With 2:20 to play here in Nashville.
You know, you talk about the best coaches this year, and when you talk about Coach of the Year, Bill Belichick certainly is getting mentioned because of the work that they've done with their team and with a rookie quarterback. And Cliff Kingsbury out in Arizona, I think he's done a phenomenal job. They did great when they lost their quarterback, Kyler Murray, for three games. But Mike Vrabel has done an excellent job with all the injuries and all the players out, finding different ways to win. And that breeds confidence in a team. When you figure out ways to win games with whoever's out there and your coaching staff has answers. I think that's one of the things that I've learned the most in this job, is that you find out which coaching staffs have answers and which ones don't. And this coaching staff for the Tennessee Titans, they have answers, even when they don't have the best players. Without Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown and Julio Jones.
And to me, also a sign of great coaching and infrastructure. You look at New England, you know, they've got injuries. Big players, of course, leaving, obviously Tom Brady, but they can still reload and contend. And you think of what Vrabel has had to deal with here. Obviously, last year they got hit by COVID, missed a ton of players. Key pieces were right there in the playoffs. And here they are again in that number 2 slot behind the New England Patriots. And you look at the chase for that top seed in the AFC and what they have left. Strength of schedule. Tennessee actually has the easier schedule, but it's close.
Those are 3 tough games for New England.
They have to play at Indianapolis, the Colts, starting to pick up some steam, and those are the 4 teams in the chase. Baltimore, a big winner today over Las Vegas as that game nears its conclusion. And again, keep in mind, if you've been watching this game, Lamar Jackson carted off the field in that Ravens game in Cleveland. Lawrence's pass is incomplete, unable to locate Chenault.
There's a lot of season left to play, Spiro. If you ask me right now, I would not be surprised to see this Tennessee team and that Kansas City team in the AFC Championship.
Wow, what a story that would be. But home field advantage would loom so large. As Jay just alluded to, we know how good the Patriots have been in the playoffs at home.
That's for Tom Brady, though. Right. A big difference.
Lawrence. Dare Ogunbowale. First time we've called his number. And it will be 3rd down. And that will take us to the 2-minute warning here in Nashville.
2-minute warning.
The Tennessee Titans closing in on their 9th win of the season on CBS. Tennessee fans getting their dance on. It has been all Mike Vrabel and Tennessee, 20-0. Tennessee has not gotten a shutout. Have to go all the way back to December of 2018, week 15 of that season. A 17-0 win over the Giants. Can they keep this clean sheet? Lawrence again under duress. Well, he's going to be seeing and hearing nightmares of this Tennessee front.
Yeah, you got to find a way to protect him better. The last thing you want is Trevor Lawrence to get hurt and have something linger into next year. I think back to Joe Burrow and his rookie year and how he was constantly under duress up there in Cincinnati, ended up in a torn ACL. And you want to develop him, but you need to protect him at the same time.
Lawrence had to get rid of it. Ogunbowale with a hide unavailable as he will fight his way to the 30-yard line. And they are going to be short. A reminder, we will get you out to some bonus coverage. Some big ones with tons of playoff implications coming down the home stretch. We'll take you to Cleveland. Browns and the Ravens. Again, no Lamar Jackson in that game. If you've just joined us, had to be carted off the field for Baltimore.
Spiro, Mike Vrabel can come across crusty at times, with the media and our production meetings, but he has great relationships with his players. And I did an interview with him after they lost the AFC Championship. He came right out of the locker room, and he had a lot of tears in his eyes, and that relationship, I think, goes a long way inside that locker room, and the way the players play for him and rally around him. And one of the reasons why he's been so successful going from that player role into the head coaching role and the success he's had here in Tennessee.
It's that tough love that you see, and he's been hard. You talk to some of the players and people around the team, he'll be hard on his assistants as well. During practice, if he feels like something is not being taught to their standards, that's not something foreign.
Yeah, he played under Bill Belichick. He watched it from the very best. Bill Belichick held everyone accountable. It didn't matter who you were, if you're Tom Brady to the last guy on that roster and every coach. But I think he does a good job of balancing that with those guys know that he cares about them.
What a culture Vrabel has built here in Nashville as we will update the playoff picture. Tennessee, keep in mind, has that 2-game lead in the South over Indianapolis, but even records with New England. That head-to-head looms large as a potential tiebreaker. New England, of course, has that in their back pocket. But, boy, things are about to get interesting over the final 4+ weeks. Patriots have a bye this week, keep in mind, as the final seconds are going to come off the clock. Mike Vrabel, his former boss, Urban Meyer, will embrace the respect between those two. And the frustration for Urban Meyer that what has been a nightmare season continues. There's your final 20-0. Now for Jay Feely, our producer, Jason Ross, Jim Cornell, our director, Spiro Ditas saying so long from Nashville as we go to JP in New York.
Tennessee's D allowed only 8